From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Back again. You know what? Guys, this is like episode 42.
Sure.
Well, really 43, but we have 42 on the books because the lost episode, as we call it.
The lost episode.
The lost episode is still
thing to ever happen
floating around the
to
ether.
us. Released in the box set.
Released that in the We got to have something for the DVD. You got to have something. But welcome to The Power Move. My name is John Gafford. I am your host. To the left of me is Colt Cheese Grits. Amidan. How you doing, Colt?
What's going on, guys?
And with us, as always, is the counselor, Chris Connell. Chris, how are you?
Living the dream.
Good, man. I got to tell you, we got a cool show today. You know what? Last week, I got to tell you, every day can't be Halloween. You know what I mean? Every day can't be Christmas. Every night can't be New Year's Eve. And last time we did this, I felt like we mailed it in a little bit. I did. At the end of it, I was like, man, I was ill prepared today. I was not prepared. I felt like the show was bad.
Is that old man grandpa advice?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like it was.
Carry
I felt
a bag
like
of Werther's Originals at all times.
Yeah, I felt like I thought, I kind of grabbed something. I thought it was gonna be okay, and then it wasn't there. But today, we're going to talk about
cakes came through.
Well, they did, but that part was good. I'm not gonna lie. But we're going to talk about something important today, which is grit. If it's how to have grit, the importance of grit, and all of those things. Because I got to tell you, I saw something this weekend that was, amazing. It's the only way I can say it is amazing. And I have never been glued to social media, watching social media stories like I was this weekend. And I was sitting there watching this, and it was literally one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And what it was Jesse Itzler. If you don't follow Jesse Itzler was the founder of Marquee Jets, now married to the lady that founded Spanx.
Part owner of the Hawks.
Part of the Hawks. I mean, all around amazing dude. Has entered and done a million companies. Jesse is an amazing cat. He has a mastermind group called Build Your Life Resume. I mean, just the dude is a beast. Written several books and just
lived with Goggins for a month.
Yes, lived with Goggins for a month, but just all around amazing guy. But he did something this weekend that was incredible. And what it was he went and participated in an ultra Ironman.
Oh boy.
Ultra Ironman in Arizona. And I was kind of like, Jesse, he runs races all the time. He does stuff like this all the time. I'm just going to do it. But nothing to this level of what he did. So for Ultra Ironman, for those of you guys who don't know, it was in Arizona. Day one, they go out there, and it's a 9-mile swim in this lake in outside of Phoenix. And, man, the weather was so bad, it looked like the ocean. I mean, it was choppy nightmare. The water was 57 degrees. They only got probably maybe 2/3 of the way through the swim before they literally had to pull them out because it was dangerous. Like people were you just couldn't, they were going to drown. They didn't pull them out. So they pull them out and they said, you know what, we're going to call that good because we can't complete it. It's fine. And then they jump on the bikes and do a 90-mile ride on the bike, which seems like a lot until you realize the next day they did another 180 miles on the bike.
Yeah.
So all in all, inside of 24 hours, they did 270 miles on the bike. Right? And this is not just flat ground. This is like 9,000 feet of elevation outside of Arizona. And then when that was done, the third day is a 56-mile run.
Wow.
Double marathon. Right? So I'm watching him do this, dude. And the level of perseverance and the level of grit that he showed to get this done was absolutely mind-boggling. What it was. It was insane to watch this. And a couple of real quick takeaways about this, and then we're going to get into what we're talking about today, which is really a detailed, great book about grit. But when I was watching this, a couple of takeaways. Number one is, Jesse's a guy that owns a deal called All Day Running Company, right? The guy is a runner. He runs every single day, I think. And he is a guy that has, is a runner. So when he runs, he looks like a runner.
Yep. He
looked like he was 120 years old, barely dragging his body on the marathon. I mean, it was, you would have thought he was 100 years old. Right. If you just rode by on your bike or rode by in your car, had no idea what was going on, had no idea what was happening, you would have thought, my God, that is a 100-year-old man running, because it looked ridiculous. So my first takeaway from that was people that are high succeeders and succeed at a high level could give an absolute rat's ass how they look doing it. because they're not doing it for you. They're not doing it for style points. They're doing it for something internally burning inside of them. And that grit is making it happen. That's why they do it.
Ask me about how I looked during my triathlon.
How'd you look during your triathlon?
Not good.
Not good. Not good. Right. Because you're grinding it out.
Right.
And then here's my second side of the coin, which is this, which is when you see people doing something, you encounter people through life. You don't know if they're on their first mile or their 56th mile. Mm-hmm. So don't be so quick to judge people. Because again, if you rode by him in a car, you'd be like, look at that dude. He can barely, nice form, genius. You know,
Look at that
whatever.
non-athlete.
Look at that non-athlete. Not realizing the dude had just ridden like 200 something miles on a bike, swam 9 miles and was running 56 miles. It was bananas.
Do you understand what that is? Like, have you ever done a triathlon, or have you ever done like a marathon or half marathon or
a
5K?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if
5K.
you're out of shape,
Yeah.
you go run 3 miles. Get up off your ass, go run 3 miles. If you have,
It's hard.
If you're not a runner,
It's hard.
You tell me about how that first mile looks.
Well, that's why, you know, the guys that were doing it with him, he had a whole team, of course, that was helping him along the way and bringing him food, whatever else. And one of his buddies was doing it. And his buddy at one point was like, I trained my ass off for this for 8 months to be here right now. He has not trained at all other than his normal running and training regimen. I can't fathom how he is doing this.
I think I can do it.
His training.
I think I could do it.
Here we go. Well, you know what? Funny you should say that, Colt.
I'm probably like him. I don't even need to train for it.
Yeah.
Hey, how about I tell you this? I'll put this on the record.
Yeah.
I'll sponsor your next Ironman.
Sponsor Colt for the Ironman?
I'll pay your admission. I'll pay your lodging the night before, and I'll pay your plane fare.
It is now a matter of record.
You have to complete
It's
it
on
without
there.
walking.
Man, it's not impressive. Just a normal triathlon.
It is.
It'd have to be something hard for me
Ironman.
to want to do. Ironman, not impressed. It'd be a hard one.
Not
Sorry, guys.
not impressed with the Ironman.
I would have to.
Have you done an Ironman?
I mean, I wake up, I do stuff. I do 15 minutes on the elliptical.
Have you ever swam in open water?
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me.
I'm serious.
Sharks.
I mean, like a mile.
Yeah. No, not a mile, but I've swam.
No, not sharks, like a lake.
Yeah.
I did mine out in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
In that lake, and
What
even
lake?
that, it's
The salt?
no.
The one that
There's
floats?
there's a recreational area out there, Palm Desert.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I think you're in the wrong desert.
Now he's arguing geography.
I'm very familiar.
There's a lake.
Are we going flat
Are
Earth
we-
with
are
this
we
at some
the-
point?
It's not in Palm
Man.
Springs. It's just a couple miles north.
It's adjacent.
There's a whole lake.
Palm Springs
area.
adjacent.
And anyway, that's where they run the triathlon out there, and it's got like a recreational area out there and whatever. Even in calm lake waters, first off, when you have all these other competitors around you swimming,
It's not calm.
It's not calm. It is freaky.
That's why you get out in
You're
first
getting
place,
hit.
Chris.
You're getting
Just get out to
smashed.
first place, and then you don't have to worry about competitors.
Yeah. Swim half a mile one
Jesus.
time in the open water, and then we'll see how impressive this is.
Yeah, and we'll see how it is. You know, I think, look, high-level people all possess a super level of grit, man. Something else, I mean, not only am I watching Jesse do this weekend, so shout out to you, Jesse. It was amazing what you did. But I was at dinner on Saturday. Cole, you're such a dick.
But a Goggins will be like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Thursday for Goggins.
There's just levels to this shit. So
Wait
never
till
compare
Goggins.
yourself against somebody
I'm
else.
naive. I don't know what Goggin is.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I think even extreme athletes, that's a lot, man. That is a serious.
But there are extreme athletes that go, yeah, I can do two.
I can do all day of this.
There's that Bigfoot 250 where they run 250 miles.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The Bigfoot 250.
I did a 5K once.
Cam Haines did. So I was climbing Mount Whitney one time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my old man athletic achievements. Cam Haines in a mountain that takes people usually 2 days to climb, ran up and down it. He did it in like 4.5 or 5 hours.
And just to do it.
The tallest mountain in the continental United States.
And he ran up it.
He ran it in like 5 and some hours.
What say you, Colt?
I think I'd do it in 4 hours then. Not impressed. Not impressed.
Not impressed.
I did a 5K once. Thought the girl was cute. So my thing was I'd always flirt with her, and like, she was a runner. I'd say, kick your ass. That's my flirting, right? And she called me at 11:30 on a Friday while I was drunk at a bar and says, oh, I forgot we have 5K in the morning. I literally had people running by me going, "Ugh, smells like tequila." Still won.
Fueled by tequila. That's the extent of Colt's athletic ability. It's not going to. That kind of training is not going to get you to the Olympics, Colt. It's not going to get you there.
I feel like I got a way better shot being an Olympian than doing a 2-day
you know what?
marathon.
I'd say you're correct in that. I think that's correct.
No, that is impressive. There's no way in hell.
There's been thousands and thousands of Olympiads. Very few human beings are able to do that.
I have to psych myself up to get in a car for 300 miles.
Well, we're gonna find out just how much grit you have a little bit later, Colt. When we actually give you the grit test on the air.
You know what I don't like?
Yes, grit test.
Grits.
I'm guessing. How do you hate grits?
I don't like grits.
Cheesy grits?
It's just all grits.
Dude,
not a huge fan of it.
I'm going to give a shout out right now. I'm going to give a shout.
Real
I went to Super Frico at the Cosmo on Saturday with zero expectation of it being good. Again, it was the only Cosmo restaurant I could get into short notice. I'm going to burn that giant comp I have up over there before MGM takes over. And dude, that was the best Italian meal, with the exception of Carbone, I've had in Vegas. It was that
even
good.
better than
it was
Italian
that,
American Club.
It was that. It was that good. Better than Piero's. Better than all of them. Better than better than Ferraro's, better than all of it.
Oh,
it was
you watch
that
your
good.
tongue, sir.
I know.
It was
We might
that
have to
good.
go. You might
Shots
be
fired.
Piero's.
The good news is I still have over $1,000 on comp, so we can all go there and I can prove it to you, which is not a problem.
I will take this gauntlet.
Yeah, we can make that happen, which is good. So I did that Friday, and then Saturday, I went out and we went to Bordeaux at Aria, and I went with the top brass at Rocket Mortgage. They came to town and took us out because we are the number one broker for them here. So, and actually here being Nevada, not just being Las Vegas, and they were nice enough to take us out, which was lovely. And I got to talking with their main guy's name's Mike Fawaz. Great dude, super nice, and he's just kind of telling me a story. And he's from North Africa.
Where?
I think it was Senegal was what he was saying, if I recall correctly. But again, this is a guy that moved to the States when he was 17, got off an airplane in the middle of winter in Detroit without a jacket, just a T-shirt.
Oh my God.
Security guard gave him his jacket, and just his family just made their way, and he's one of the top guys in Rocket Mortgage and just hustled his way to getting it done. And you hear those stories and you're like, it's like a loud noise in my head, which is, what is your excuse? All of these people in this country that were born and just have this sense of entitlement. It's like, bro, look at this dude. This guy's amazing. And you can be amazing if you just put forth the effort and have the grit.
If you just had a bit of adversarial,
had some adversarial in you. That's exactly right. So I went back when I was going through this and I was thinking about today because I wanted to be prepared, and I did some research and I found a book called Grit on the subject of grit, not grits. Sorry, Cole. I know you're probably thinking
I don't like
about
grits or
real
Tom
quick.
Hanks.
Speaking of grits, the polenta at Super Frico is another world. Otherworldly.
You can't keep talking about
Yeah,
this.
I'm like,
Now we gotta
Otherworldly.
go.
Sorry, there we go. Anyway,
What are we doing tonight?
So let's talk. I'm going to have some notes here from the book Grit by Angela Duckworth.
Angela Duckworth.
Yeah, and essentially what it is I'm going to just talk about some key components of that book, and we'll discuss them. But the number one theme with having grit is talent is actually less important than grit for achieving success. People that are talented have a less probable chance of ending up successful than people that have grit. And it's funny because, people with grit are more likely to succeed at whatever task they set themselves, whether they use determination to achieve good or evil. Colt, so you're good there. Talent, on the other hand, seems to have little correlation with overcoming obstacles. And this is the thing that I thought was really interesting, because it talked about a study where it said in 2010, 210 child prodigies, researcher Joan Freeman found that only 6 of them went on to sweeping adult success. So child prodigies, either incredible at whatever they were, Doogie Howser, playing piano, chess, whatever it was, but of the 210 kids that would be considered prodigies at something, only 6 of them wound up being uber successful in that field. Yeah, I thought that was terrible.
Now, did they get into it as to why? Because here's the thing. Now, a lot of times people, I don't want to get it into the weeds, but a lot of times these kid prodigies, they have a degree of autism on their spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. So they're extra super talented in one area. Right, but if there's a social, because here's the reality, John, too. Mm-hmm. People that are good with others are usually successful.
Yeah,
people skills are more important than any task skills, right?
Yeah,
would you say?
Probably true.
And that probably comes down to grit too, right? People that don't give up on others.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I think when something comes so easy, it's like the straight A student that doesn't work at it, right? The
Yeah,
guy that's
there's
working his ass off for C's is going to be more successful. And who was the soccer player back in the day? The youngest Nike guy, Freddie Adu, whatever. He
Soccer's
did
not a real
nothing.
sport. I don't know.
He did nothing. No, but he was like a prodigy. He was like in every rap song everybody wanted to, and then he was playing in
championships
Vegas.
did Iverson win? How many championships did like D Rose
We're
win?
talking about practice.
Practice.
Practice. It's about practice.
So you take a look at some of the most talented NBA guys, arguably
Still
that
the
made
best
it.
quote ever in the NBA.
The best.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
But at the end of the day, look at Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Do you think Dennis Rodman was a talented
No,
basketball
Dennis
player?
Rodman said, I want to become the best rebounder the game has ever seen.
And he was.
That's what I want to do.
did.
And that's it. I didn't care if he
far.
could shoot, didn't care if he could do anything else.
Rebounding is
just
not
want
a
to rebound.
talent.
That was it.
Rebounding is
Heart.
pure grit.
Heart.
It's pure
All
grit.
heart. All heart.
That guy might be the
Grittiest
grittiest
athlete.
athlete ever.
Well, I think gritty with him takes a new word now because he looks.
He's
a little
also
gritty
one of
now.
the grittiest people.
Yeah.
He looks a little gritty now. But yeah,
is
but the
definition.
study on these kids, right? The study on these kids showed that one of the reasons that they didn't do that is because a couple things. Number one, maybe they didn't love what they were doing anymore. But more often than not, they became discouraged when their peers started to catch up with their ability.
Yeah.
At the work that they had to put forward to stay ahead of them. So it was easier for them to just quit than it was for them to try to continue to doing what they're doing, which I thought was
That's I saw a thing on social media. It was Jay-Z actually speaking. And I was like, I'll listen to it. And his whole
Hova.
thing was, I put blinders on. I didn't mind that other people had multiple number ones over me. I didn't care. I was running my own race, which I think that is key sometimes because, like you said, you look at other people's success and it can make you frustrated.
To your point, though, and to John's point about adversity, right? The guy from Senegal.
Yeah.
Take a look at Jay-Z raised in Marcy Projects.
Right.
Jay-Z single mom.
Yep.
Jay-Z, all these things, right? So
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. I mean, put blinders on, run your own race.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see here. So now what we're going to do is, because the next part of this book, they actually have a grit test. So I thought what would be fun, and if you want to do this, if you're listening at home, you can go to AngelaDuckworth.com. That's Angela spelled the normal way, Angela, and then duck like duck, and then worth, WORTH.com. So if you want to do this at home to check your grit, or more importantly, I would say maybe your kids, if they're teens, this is a good little test for them. Not a lot of big words, so it should be easy. Colt. So here's the deal.
I'm doing it?
We're doing this on you. Of course we're doing it on you. Who else? What are we going to do it on Connell? No, we're testing you. That's the whole point. So here's the grit scale test. It is 10 questions. It is not a time test, although we'd like you to move it along because I'm sure the people who are listening to this are like, how long is this going to take? So the answers you can answer very much like me, mostly like me, somewhat not like me, or not much like me, or not like me. So you have your five variants, somewhat being in the middle, not much, and then not like me at all. So you have like yes, no,
what's the
sorta,
highest? What's the
sorta,
lowest? 5,
medium.
4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah. So you have very much, most likely, somewhat, not much, and not like me. So question number 1, here we go. New ideas and projects sometimes distract me from previous ones.
I would say middle on that one.
Middle, somewhat?
Yeah,
okay.
that definitely
That's
does.
fine. All right, cool. I got you. Number 2, setbacks don't discourage me. I don't give up easily.
Towards the higher. That doesn't bother
Mostly?
me. Not, yeah.
Okay, so a little over
bit,
medium.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay, I got it. Number 3, I often set a goal, but later choose to pursue a different one.
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat, so right in the middle?
Yeah.
All right. You're just like lukewarm water, baby.
Yeah, no,
Lukewarm
the
water, right in the middle. I am a hard worker.
I'm more a smart worker. Somewhat.
Somewhat.
I'll work
You gotta
hard,
love
but
the honesty.
I know, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
you gotta love it.
I
See,
tell people all the
I would
time,
think-
I am
see, this-
not the
no.
hardest working person. I'm
This
one
is-
of the smartest working people.
This is why I'm going to give you credit, because to me, I read, am I a hard worker? It's one of those questions like, are you honest?
Yes.
Like, nah, not really that often. Yeah, I'm okay. Not
Little
like
Larry David
everybody's like, yeah.
I think I don't know. I like smart
I
working.
would go right in
way
the middle.
better.
I got it. Number 5, I have difficulty maintaining my focus on projects that take more than a few months to complete.
No, not really months. I mean,
So not much like you, or not like you at all?
I have not much like me.
Not much
No.
like you. Okay, got it.
I think real estate and commercial
finish
makes you.
what I begin.
Oh no, that's probably I nix a lot of stuff once I see where it's going. So
Okay, so not much like me?
not much like me.
Okay. My interests change from year to year.
Not really.
Not really.
No,
Okay, not much like,
when
okay,
I
that's
was,
fine.
I mean,
Scotch is
not-
Scotch, baby.
not
yeah,
like
if
me.
this was in my 20s,
Yeah,
I would
Scotch is- yeah, okay,
be
I
a
get
lot
it.
different,
Yeah, but
right?
you're who you
Right
are.
now,
You're who
I've
you
been
are.
doing this 20 years.
Yeah, so not like, so we're going not much or not like me? My interests change.
Not much like me.
Not much like me. Okay. I am diligent. I never give up.
I would say not much like me.
Not much. Okay. I have been obsessed with certain idea or project for a short time, but later lost interest.
No, not much like me.
Not much like me. Okay. I have overcome setbacks to conquer an important challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Very much like me.
Very much, yeah.
Okay. There you go.
think every
So let's see what
challenge-
Colt's score is. You ready?
Not
You his
ready.
score.
Not
Not
great.
Colt comes in at 3.40, which means you scored 40% higher of American adults in a recent
What is
study.
that out of? 5
Really?
or 10?
Well, out of 5. Out of 5. 3,
And that-
4.
and that's brutally honest.
Yeah, that he was being honest. I would say this: the test gives each individual a grit score of a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most. A grit score of 3.8 is about average, and a score of 4.9 puts an individual in the 99th percentile for American results.
I'm not that person that's going to put my mind to go run it. Chris is probably
I'm
more
an
like
idiot. I will.
No,
yeah,
stuff to
Chris
my
Put you right
will.
down.
Like if he
I
sat
will-
here and said, "Let's go run a
Well, no.
marathon,"
And I
like
had to go do it. I'm
no,
finishing the marathon.
not
No,
interested.
No, I thought it was interesting, and I thought, anytime we can give you some sort of
man,
psychological
that was
test.
intriguing.
I mean,
like it.
I think that's good. I think that's good airtime to give Colt psychological
Yeah.
tests. On
We're building a case.
Yeah, I know, right?
Building
Someone's
a
gonna be
case
like,
So I always had to be. So for sports too, you always got to be a little gritty. But I was playing tackle football at 12 with 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's because you were probably like
I was
6'2",
I had to
300
cut weight
pounds.
to play with 16-year-olds.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you have the X on your
So I was
helmet?
like 180 pounds at 12.
Oh, my God.
So playing with that, a bunch of real bullies and assholes.
Yeah.
My dad would always be like, "Why don't you quit?" And it's like, "Fuck you! I will
Yeah, I'm
never,
not gonna let these
I will
kids get the best
never
of me.
let you know that you got me on something.
Not letting you get the best of anybody. Not a
Never.
chance.
I'll go to my grave to not let. I want my enemies to live forever so they can see what I'm
See
doing.
what I'm doing.
Fueled by a lot of spite, and I think grit and spite. go
No,
hand in hand.
and
A
I'm
lot of
fueled
great
by
things in this
spite.
country have happened fueled by spite.
I am definitely I'm one that I will fuel stuff by spite. Probably more than I'll fuel more by spite than out
Spite
of
and
positive.
coffee.
Well, okay. Well, let's
And
look. Okay.
scotch.
Let's look right now. What's being fueled by spite? You mentioned it earlier.
Russia.
You had you had Trevor Noah actually say, "This shit probably wouldn't be happening if we had Trump in office."
How do you how as a president of the United States you not getting phone calls returned? It's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And sorry, that's not going after one side or
It's
another.
not
That's
politics.
Just,
It's
that's just embarrassing as a country.
Like I said, I wasn't a fan. I'll put my cards on the table. I didn't like Biden or Trump.
Yeah.
I didn't like Trump for a lot of other reasons. I don't think he's a wealthy, successful man. I don't. But I don't like Biden either because I think he's just as much of a career politician as all these guys, just under the auspices of being a man of the people, right? So that aside, Trevor Noah, the host of the Daily Show, you're talking about very establishment left
hard
media.
Hard.
And he goes, "This is shameful." Trump would at least get the call because he's a wild card.
Yeah, 'cause he's
and he
nuts.
wasn't advocating for Trump. He's saying Trump is such a maniac that Saudi Arabia answers the phone because you may have a preemptive strike happening if that phone doesn't come to the second ring.
That's the point. Unfortunately, and this is, I don't remember. I heard this a long time ago. I was in a conversation with somebody, and they were from the Middle East, and I was asking them. This is right after 9/11, and I was having a conversation. It was somebody that I knew that had migrated to the States from the Middle East, and I said, can you break this down as simple as you can? As simple as you can you break it down? And their response was, the United States wants to try to negotiate their way out of a problem with the only answer the other side wants is for you to be dead.
Yes.
And when you're dealing with that, there's no negotiating. If it's an all-in proposition, there's no negotiating. When you're not going to give them land. They're not fighting for land. They're not fighting for power. They're fighting for you to be dead. That's it.
Well, that's a very
But the point being is, sometimes the only way to fight crazy is with a little bit of crazy.
Craziness.
So, do you know who Fisher and Urey are at the Harvard Negotiation Project?
Oh, I had lunch with them last Thursday.
Getting to yes, though. Getting to yes.
Yeah.
Are they dead or are they alive? Or?
No, they're, I think
yeah,
they're,
I think
it's
they're-
like one of the seminal.
Okay,
sort of
you
books
know
on-
these people,
Yeah.
Colt? Okay.
Yeah,
getting to yes.
College.
I'm sorry. Getting to yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Fisher and Urey's the Harvard negotiation project.
With me, you need to lead with the book, and I sometimes don't remember the author, but I do know the book.
Shocker,
I actually did that Harvard course, the actual negotiation mastery.
Oh, sure. Like you went to
Harvard.
Strasbourg. So what that whole course is designed, and multiple books, and I've read them all, and it's been a big staple, not through my MBA program, but as well through the Harvard negotiation project, is that getting to yes, when you're negotiating, it's about all these different principles in negotiation, right? How to collaboratively approach, what's your best alternative to a negotiated agreement?
The BATNA.
Which
I love.
Exactly.
I teach that all the time.
Yeah, and that's a getting the yes principle.
Yeah.
But there's this book they put out about dealing with irrational people and irrationality in negotiation. And you sometimes have to understand what your BATNA is, right? Much better with a sociopath than, because you can't come in there and beat up sledgehammers with sledgehammers. Sometimes you have to just, cushion the room around a sledgehammer. You got to figure out, okay, I understand I'm dealing with irrationality right now. So I can't use rational thought to try to overcome something that won't have the same logical step up in basic.
Well, let me back this up. So one basic honest question, and not because of friends, not because of politics, based on strictly wild card factor.
Yep.
Okay. If Trump was still in office, do you think this shit's happening?
No.
Well, I have my own problems with the way that
answer the question, counselor. I'm asking you a direct question. The point being is based strictly on the wild card factor of Trump.
No, not on the wild card factor, because Putin and Trump had a different relationship that was highly criticized as well. And when Trump was saying things like, "Oh, Putin's so smart" and all this other stuff, he's said it multiple times. And again, I understand why you don't need to instigate escalation.
But here's let me ask you a question about that, because this has been I saw a Morning Joe clip the other day where they were just smashing that, and where he said how he was a genius and how smart this was and blah, blah. Do you think, and again, this is a media, this is not a pro-Republican anti-Democrat,
Sure.
This is a bashing the media idea. I saw what Trump said.
Multiple times
I saw what he said.
Right.
He was making a comment of, it was almost like what a man can do, he will do. So based on that, the fact that he had no fear to do it, it made it smart. I don't think he was in support of him invading the Ukraine.
No. And I agree. I think that gets taken out of context.
I think that's
I'm not
way
saying
out of
he's
context.
like pro, marching into Ukraine. But I do think that sometimes when, to the hammer, the whole world looks like nails. And so a lot of times Trump, if you read Art of the Deal and the negotiation strategy and all this stuff, and again, my criticisms of Trump happened way before he was ever the president, right? I'm one of those people, it has to do with nepotism, people who inherit money that pretend like they're successful. Like John, you, Colt, and I are more successful to me because it's relative to where you start to where you end. That to me is success.
The stretch.
Success isn't when
my kids, losers. You were a loser.
Trump is a self-made millionaire. The problem is he started off a billionaire. And so at the end of the day, I've had criticisms about it from a business point of view. But a lot of times people look at strategy as zero-sum games.
Yeah.
And so he's playing a game of risk. He's kind of watching this dangerous game of risk and going, oh, that's a great way to take over Tuck or whatever.
Right.
That's a great way to come into, Uzbekistan and do this or that. And to me, I go, when you're talking about domestic relations, foreign policy, we saw Trump was a poor diplomat, the way he handled himself around other diplomats.
Oh, sure.
He doesn't know how to play that game very well. So to him, he's
although I did like the Putin shot though, when he grabs him, just yanks him to him like a little rag doll. I like that one. that was a power move handshake. I think Republican, Democrat, whatever it is, I think you appreciate that handshake.
Sure.
Yeah. That was a power move.
Putin is he's somewhat impressive as a human being, aside from being a dictator. And a real piece of shit at that, right? He has a lot of probably grit in his own right. Coming up through the ranks, he's a judo black belt. I mean, like the guy is not. He's not Justin Trudeau.
I think we're dealing with a lot of people running countries right now that aren't necessarily sharp in the drawer. They're not the sharpest knife in the drawer anymore. I think there's some senility sipping. I think there's some senility seeping in. I think this is about legacy for him.
It is.
He sees the end of what it is. He wants his big statues, and that's what he wants.
And again, I understand the whole issue about Ukraine and teeing up for NATO, right?
Yeah.
And Putin has a good point, and let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah,
Putin has a good
he doesn't
point,
want missiles on his doorstep. If he did it to Canada, we'd be just as mad.
And again, the United States is a friend of these countries until you're Libya.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of attack. United States has got such dirty hands in everything it does that when it tries to
Okay, real quick. Not everything it does. This is America, son.
well,
All right, I don't like the way you ain't gonna come in here from your Canada bullshit talking
your
about this.
China.
Love it or leave it, Connell. Love it or leave it, you son of a bitch. All right, well,
there's 200. There's been over 250 military.
oh Jesus, we're gonna have him deported. See,
I know.
where are you?
I'm not. I'm
Is it
keeping
sad
my
when I'm looking for
mouth.
you for backup and I'm not getting it? Come on, Colt.
hold on.
Jesus.
I'm about to defend it.
He's
I
American
am
basher.
so mad
I will-
that
go ahead.
Tom Hanks is playing Pinocchio because can we not get an Italian American?
Why do I even engage him
But,
in this?
but to finish the point, there's been over 250 military interventions since World War II. When we don't like something, we go in there and we fuck it up until it suits our interest, right? Now, that has a lot of tertiary benefits in the world through things like hegemony over the seas, which creates safety for other countries. Sometimes having a biggest bully in the yard with the biggest stick is safer for other people. And I trust the United States not to use nuclear weapons, right? But the only country that's ever used them has been the United States. So I understand a lot of times if you were Russia, if you're China, you're going, you don't always have the best record in terms of how we're treated, right? That's their position, and I don't agree with it because they exhibit a lot of human rights abuses.
Does Russia make us look like just so much more amazing? I mean, like, they're supposed to be, the second largest, strongest military?
No.
They can't even take over.
No.
They can't even take over. I mean, they have soldiers freezing to
well,
death.
we couldn't.
They
We
have a
didn't
third
exactly.
of our population and a fraction of our economic output.
Yeah, we didn't exactly take over Afghanistan when we were there. But anyway, all right, we're going to take a quick break and see if we can get Chris deported. When we come back, we'll talk more about grit.
ISIS.
United States
And America.
has freedom of speech.
Stop it, America.
Canceled. You're the reason.
Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.